What's going on, gamers and collectors? DGC back with another video, and today we're looking at all the games that I beat in 2018. Wrote them down on the sheet of paper each month that I beat them. Did I make it to 30 titles? Let's find out. Alright, so at the beginning of 2018, I decided that I was going to try to beat 30 games this year. Pretty reasonable goal. Like, that's not that many games. I mean, I could have done like all the Mega Mans, or well, those are tough, but simple short games like that. But you know, I actually did a variety of different stuff here, and I enjoyed this year's worth of gaming. And it wasn't just all new stuff. There was retro, new, all sorts of different stuff. So let's check it out here. In the month of January, I beat Panzer Dragoon Orta for the original Xbox. Very beautiful looking game. One of probably the top 10 looking games on the original Xbox, if not top 5, if not even top 3. Fantastic game, soundtrack, story's pretty cool, level design's good, boss fights are good, hard as balls, but I enjoyed it. I almost broke a controller playing it. You know when you beat the games that you almost break a controller to, but you know that you enjoyed them because of that. Like, you triumphed over it and you beat it, and it was like worth it in the end. You're like, oh, this was fucking fantastic. So Panzer Dragoon Orta, fucking fantastic. It was a cheap game. You can get it for $10 on the Xbox One, you know, Microsoft Store or whatever. A physical copy I think now goes for, unfortunately, $40 to $60, or at least it was last time I looked. So a little pricey, but I would say if you can get it at 30-ish, definitely worth a playthrough, because it's hard enough to where it's still going to take you about 10 hours to beat the game, give or take. So I mean, at $30, 10 hours, a lot of replay value. It actually has the PC port of the original Saturn game, which was on the PC as well, on the Xbox, I believe. I'm pretty sure. Somebody clarify me in the comments if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's the PC port. So you basically get 2 games in, you know, one package. So it's definitely a good purchase. Next up, Wolfenstein 2. Fantastic game. Again, played that on my Xbox One X. I actually got sick one time this year, and it was in January, evidently. And I remember just pulling Wolfenstein 2 off the shelf. I stayed home like 2 or 3 days, and yeah, just pumped it out, beat it. Fantastic, gorgeous visuals, amazing story. There was just sections where it, like, the one section that really resonated with me, and it really stands out to me to this day, and like, it was just really kind of a defining moment of this generation of gaming. It was when you get to New Orleans and you're kind of like doing a little bit of stealth, and then you'd have to play the game, but like the New Orleans section for me like really just stood out, and it was just, I really love the new Wolfenstein franchise. It's absolutely amazing. Probably one of my favorite franchises this generation, that's for sure. Definitely worth playing, and it's super cheap now. Okay, next up, in January, I beat Mario Odyssey. I played through about half of it in, I think it came out October last year, and then I played the other half of it in January and beat it. Good, not as good as Sunshine. Yes, I'm Sunshine fanatic. Sunshine is the best Mario. It is what it is, that's my opinion. Odyssey, definitely up there. Not as good as Mario 64, but definitely better than the Wii games, the Galaxy games. Not as good as the Wii U games, in my opinion. Those were 2 fantastic Mario games. And then, of course, the original 4 Mario games are all-time classics. So I did enjoy it. That's never going to not be $60. I mean, even a used cart 20 years from now is still probably going to be 30, 40, 50 bucks, just because Nintendo titles never lose their value. But you're getting a lot out of that purchase for that price. Alright, next up, January. I beat this in a live stream. I believe, yeah, it was in a live stream. It was Nex Machina. So that was a limited run games print of a Horsemark game, which is a second-party studio that does digital shit for Sony. They basically do shoot-em-ups. They did Resogun, which is an all-time favorite of mine. They did Nex Machina. They did Matterfall, which I still need to get. I really want to try that one. And then they did another game this generation too. I think it was called Alien something, Alien Nation, I think. I believe that was them. Really great game. Probably one of the better shoot-em-ups I've played this year, or just in a while. And it's not essentially like a ship shoot-em-up. It was more of a twin sticks guy on the ground kind of shoot 'em up. But there's so many different types of shoot 'em ups, but it's still a shoot 'em up. Really good game. You can get the digital copy for 20 bucks, I think, and unfortunately the physical was only limited run, so it's kind of hard to get. But really good game. Next up, beat this on a live stream as well, a separate time. This was Caldrius Blaze. Again, limited run. However, Play Asia did do a release of that as well. And there's also a release of that on the 360 as well. Good game. Not one of my favorite shmups, but definitely a good one. Definitely worth picking up, but it's very short, like an hour or less. But it is a good game. There's multiple different characters, and then once you do all those, you unlock like this gold phoenix bird character. And it's a good game, though. Alright, so that was all of January. So we did 5 games in January. Pretty impressive. Off to a good start here. Now, this is one game for February. The whole month of February. 28 days. But one game for that month. Shadow of War. Whew. I didn't think the game was ever going to end. It kind of got really grindy at the end. I didn't pay for any loot boxes or, you know, DLC or packs or any of that nonsense because I'm not about that life. You should know that by now. But I loved the first one. I bought the Game of the Year edition on PC and PS4, and then I had to play the new one, so I got that on the X because that's the definitive console version. I'm more of a console gamer at this point. It's just more convenient when to sit on the couch and play the game. But it looks beautiful on the X, and it runs great, and you could do either, I'm pretty sure that it's been since February since I played it, but I'm pretty sure there was a 1080p 60 option and a 4K 30 option, although, yeah, there was, but they didn't label it that, but that's essentially what that was, but it was either graphic fidelity or, I don't know, but however they worded it, but either way, fantastic game, really good, left off with a huge cliffhanger, can't wait for the third one, but the third one's obviously going to be next year. It'll probably be similar to the first one where it was a cross-generation game, because a lot of, I mean, and maybe people don't know that, but, what was it? Shadow of War, and then there was, Shadow of Mordor was the first one. Shadow of Mordor was a cross-gen between 360, PS3, PS4, and Xbox One. I would like to play one of the old versions to see how they run. I really would. I know, Cat's Games, whatever, Joel, he played it on 360, I believe, so I would like to get a cheap copy one day and just see how it runs on the old gen, like, just out of sheer curiosity. But really good game. They have a Game of the Year edition for it now, which comes with the DLC. However, one caveat to that, and why I didn't buy it like the first one. The first one had all the shit on the disc, so it's worth buying. The second one, in America, only has a voucher code. In the rest of the world, it's on the disc. Why? I don't know. America just gets fucked like that. But either way, so that was all of February. Now, March, only 2 games. So the first one was, I only wrote Kirby on here. I'm trying to, it was Kirby's Dreamland 3 for the Super Nintendo is what it was. I want to say there was 7 worlds in that, and then each world had 5 or 6 levels in them, if I remember correctly. Now, that's a very expensive Super Nintendo title. I actually have it complete in box. I bought that in maybe, I don't know, 2012, 2013, like right when I like really jumped back into like wanting to grab things while they were still cheap. And I mean, at that time I didn't know that this was going to become a huge thing where everybody's like, oh, I got to buy all this shit. But so I actually only paid like 45 bucks for a complete in box copy of Dreamland 3. So really cool, and till this day, or till this year in March, I didn't beat it, and I sat there and I looked at it and I was like, the card alone's worth $100 now, like, and you haven't even enjoyed this. And Kirby's like, I love the Kirby games. They're not, it's definitely up there for me in Nintendo franchises. They're really good and they're just simplistic, fun to play. But so in this game, the one thing that really stood out to me was there was an Easter egg. You actually meet up with Samus in the game. Like, how cool is that? Like, you're on this snow planet. It was right toward the end of the game, and I remember sending a picture to Tyler Stevenson, Rocker Gaming, and a few other people. And I was just like, dude, look, it's Samus. And nobody, like, they couldn't see the picture. I was like, dude, that's totally Samus, and it was, with the gunship and everything. So I had a really good time playing that game. It was really good, and the first couple worlds were super easy, and then it like actually got kind of difficult at the end, but really good game. Now, the other game, the last game in March, probably one of, it is one of the top 5 rarest Wii U games in North America, if not the entire world, and that is Devil's Third. I finally sat down and played it. I pre-ordered that the day it was announced that you could pre-order it at GameStop. They opened up my copy. I'm super pissed about that. Still am to this day. Kind of hold a grudge against them for that, because it's almost kind of like a ceremonial thing when you buy a new game. Like, I want to cut that cellophane open. I want to get a whiff of it, and like, you know, I paid $60 for the new game. I didn't pay you to open it for me. Like, why would I do that? Like, the fuck? So yeah, GameStop opened my fucking copy. I was pissed about it, but either way, Devil's Third. The hardest game I've ever played in my life. The hardest. Good game though. It gets shit on. It really does, and it's kind of sad, because if it had another 6 months in the oven to bake and really, you know, flesh out the ideas that they were going for and really lock that frame rate at 30 frames a second, because that game dips bad. I'm talking, you're talking low teens on sometimes when it dips in the frame rate. It's bad. But it's such a cool premise, and it's a cool idea. So it's basically Gears of War meets Ninja Gaiden meets, I mean, that's pretty much it. It's basically Ninja Gaiden mixed with, you know, Gears of War. There's like cover combat, and then it's just like a third-person shooter, but then when you aim down the sight, you're in first person. And then there's also, you know, you have your swords, and you can get rebar and huge mallets and axes and machetes and all sorts of shit. Really cool though. The last boss in that game is the hardest boss fight I have ever experienced in my gaming career. Being that the only way you can play this game is on the Wii U, and it's rare, I would recommend playing it. I really would. If you can manage to spend the $220 that it'll take you to buy a Wii U and a copy of the game. But along with that, there are many Wii U games that are still exclusive and will always remain exclusive, like Wonderful 101, Pikmin 3, the Wario game will probably stay exclusive, Nintendo Land will stay exclusive. I have a good feeling that 3D Land, Mario 3D Land, I think that'll stay exclusive as well, I really do. It's the best place to play Wind Waker, Twilight Princess. There's still a lot of value in the Wii U, and we're going to be talking a lot more about Wii U in 2019. But let's get back to this list here. Alright, next up, April. What did you beat in April? Well, it looks like one game, and that makes sense. So, what came out in April, Alex? What was the big game that came out in April? Well, it was the game that won Game of the Year, God of War 4. Absolutely the best PlayStation 4 game, probably one of the best games, if not the best game this generation, and just such a masterpiece, and it deserved that Game of the Year award so hard. I couldn't stop thinking about that game. That was all I dreamt about, that was all I thought about at work, that's all I thought about when I was driving home from work, driving to work. I just wanted to know what was going to happen to Atreus, what was going to happen to Kratos, what was going to happen to Balrog, what was going to happen to all these different people, and how am I going to do this puzzle, how am I, and you know, and the puzzles were simple, but then there were some that were difficult, and you had to like really think about it, and just the pacing in the game was so well crafted, and the visuals, and the soundtrack, and the score, and just... and when you get to you finally get to the boat, and you're riding around in the boat a lot, and that shit kind of pissed me off. But then after a while, I was like, you know what? This works, and they did it right, you know. So that was April, God of War 4, absolutely amazing. That was my Game of the Year, and it literally won Game of the Year. Now, May. What did you beat in May? It looks like 2 games here. Okay, so we're about. Let me fold this here. We're So, Horizon Zero Dawn, that was May. And the Frozen Wilds DLC, because I bought the complete edition. Or actually, no, that was given to me last Christmas from my parents. And then I finally beat it in May. Fantastic game. Again, a masterpiece. Like, truly breathtaking, beautiful. Now, for me, I enjoyed the Frozen Wilds a little bit more than the actual story. And one thing I will say for a fact, the version that actually comes on the complete edition is version 2.63, and that is an up-to-date version that plays off of the disc. So that is a future-proofed game right there for anybody that's actually collecting for the PlayStation 4. So just go into it knowing that. Same with God of War. God of War is actually fully playable off the disc, and there are minor glitches, but it's still pretty much fully playable, which is kind of weird to think about. At the tail end of the generation, we're finally getting games that are like actually playable off the disc. And then one more game for May on the PlayStation 1. Never hear me talking about that, but I did play it in May. 1942, the shoot 'em up. I beat that on the PlayStation, so I enjoyed that. Alright, now, on the Rare Replay in June, I beat Battletoads arcade version. Really good, really enjoyed that. I actually stayed over at my parents' house for a week, and I brought my Xbox One, and I brought Assassin's Creed Origins, which is not on this list because I didn't finish it because I got, and we'll get back to Battletoads here in a second, but they kind of happened at the same time. So I was staying at my parents' house and got to level 21 in Assassin's Creed Origins, really enjoying it, got pretty far into the story, and then to get to the last mission, or I don't know if it is the last mission, but the last mission that's on my screen map to play, you had to be level 30 to activate it, right? And I was 21, and basically all there was just a stupid little quest that would get you like, 100 XP. And I was literally like 18,000 XP from getting to the next level, I think, let alone level 30. So I never beat Assassin's Creed Origins. I'm really disappointed in that. That's the first one that I haven't ever beaten. And I don't think I'll ever go back to it, honestly. I do have Odyssey, and I do plan on trying to beat that one. That's going to be a 2019 game for me to embark on. But alright, back to Battletoads. Battletoads Arcade. Absolutely amazing game. Runs very silky smooth on the Xbox One. Definitely get the 30th anniversary Rare Replay collection thing. It's probably super cheap now. Actually, is that? I don't think that's on the Game Pass, which is kind of weird. But definitely pick it up. It's super cheap. Then on the Capcom Collection on the original Xbox, I beat 2 games, and this was as well in a live stream. Now, for those of you familiar with Mainly Gaming, cool dude. Definitely check him out if you get some time. This is his. I'm pretty confident in saying this is one of his favorite games. It's June-Mercs. I beat that on the Capcom Collection. That was a Genesis game, which he loves to play. Really good. Really enjoyed that. I would like to get a physical copy of that for the Genesis. And then I also beat Final Fight CD actually twice this year. Once in that same stream on the Capcom Collection, and then the other time with my buddy Nick. Actually, you know what? We didn't beat it. We got insanely close, though, if I remember correctly. I think we got to like the last level. But either way, we played that on his actual Sega CD, and he was the one that got me into the Sega CD, which I got this year, and been enjoying that. But so yeah, I definitely beat June-Mercs, and I definitely beat Final Fight CD by myself on stream, and that was in June. And then the last one in June was Ys 8, which I did do a review for. Really enjoyed that game. So I own that on the PS4 and the Switch. I got the review copy for the Switch, and then I have the limited edition, I don't know where it is, for the PS4. Really great game. It's also on the Vita. Tyler Stevenson, he actually bought it for the Vita, and he really enjoyed it. And really underappreciated game right there. Really is. It's RPG light, where it's more of an action RPG, and it's a really fun game though. Like, it really is, and I kind of wish more people would give it a chance. Not graphically impressive, but they're good enough. And it was really cool because you get to basically find all of these survivors on the island, and that's basically your mission, is find all these survivors. And then I'm not going to ruin the story because that's a really good story, and it takes about 80 hours to beat the game, 60 to 80 depending on if you're rushing and stuff. But really good RPG, and Vita, Switch, PC, and PS4. And then you like build up your little water, or your beach shore. Basically, you kind of make like a little castle almost, and there's like little shops in it and stuff, and it's kind of, I mean, it's your base basically, and there's like caves next to it, and that's where you start out, and that's where you build your base basically. But really good game. And then in July, I kind of went on a little bit of a Genesis kick, so I started playing, because I got the Sega CD, and then I think I got that in like June or July. I guess probably would have been about somewhere in that time frame, or maybe it was August, I don't know. And then I got the 32X about 2 months ago in like September or maybe October. But so I've been kind of going on like a Genesis kick here this year, and just really digging some of that stuff, because I never had any of that like really as a kid, and I've been kind of picking up the better titles throughout this year if you've been following the channel. But so in July, I beat Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Ghouls and Ghosts, Contra Hard Corps, and I have all those physically. And now I'll be honest with you, all the Sonics I did beat the legit way. Ghouls and Ghosts and Contra Hard Corps I own physical copies of. I did actually have to cheat to beat those. Kind of ashamed to admit that, but those are like some of the hardest games, and I really just wanted to experience them and play them and see the level, and you know, if I played them enough, like I could probably get good at them. Get good, kid. But yeah, I mean, like if I played them enough over and over and over with repetition, like I'm sure I could learn all the patterns and all that shit. But as an adult, I just don't have time to do that, and I want to occasionally just pop in and play it. So I used the Game Genie and I beat them. Really enjoyed all those. I really did. Now, or actually, you know what? There is another game in July. So it was July was Sonic 1, 2, 3, Ghouls and Ghosts, Contra Hard Corps, and then my other contender for Game of the Year, which didn't even come out this year, but just it was such an emotional adventure to play this game and this series, and we're about to get into what pretty much consumed the latter half of my year as far as gaming goes. So I've always heard about this crazy franchise called Yakuza. And I've always wanted to get into it because I've always been told it's like Shenmue, it's kind of like Japanese GTA, but there's no vehicles, and it's just really fun, and it's kind of like a futuristic Streets of Rage beat 'em up, but in 3D, but then it has like a really good story, and it's got like BioWare aspects where you can pick your dialogue, and I've always heard all these great things about it, so I wanted to try it. And then sure enough, they've been popping them out. Sega, you're doing a killer job this year, and in 2019 they have some killer shit coming out. Sega is the real MVP in the gaming market right now, and nobody is congratulating them on that, but they are killing it right now. So I'm congratulating you, Sega. You're doing a great job. But Yakuza 0, that's where we're at right now. I have the launch edition, which came with a little like a business card holder thing, and that's kind of cool. And it's got Kiryu's business card in there, Nishikiyama's business card in there, and I think Majima's business card in there. And just such an amazing experience. So with this game, it also brought me into Japanese culture more, obviously, and the game is all Japanese, and you have to read subtitles. I used to hate watching anime like that. However, forcing myself to play through this game, and then about 3 or 4 hours into it, I was fucking hooked, like a little crack addict. I just like had to keep figuring out what happens in the story. It's like, I gotta know, because it's such a, it just keeps going, and you just dig deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and the story just gets so good. It's such a good game, such a great franchise. I loved Yakuza 0. Definitely, between God of War, Horizon, and Yakuza 0, some of my favorite experiences this year in gaming with those 3 games. Like, I just absolutely had a blast playing those. I really did. They're just so good. And so in Yakuza 0, you build this relationship with Nishikiyama, that's like your best friend, and you start out, you know, with him, and then the beginning of the game, I'm not going to give away too much of the story here, but you start out and you go to the bars, and then you have a couple fights, and you learn the mechanics, and basically Kiryu gets framed for a murder, and he was a Yakuza, then he's not, and pretty much every game he basically gets sucked back into the Yakuza, even though he doesn't want to be in there, but like he's so ingrained in the family, the Dojima family, because he's the king of Dojima. You know, it's just always sucking him back in every game. So that was July. What did I beat in August? Well, funny you ask. In August, Yakuza Kiwami, yeah, the Yakuza Kiwami, the remake, or no, Yakuza Kiwami 0 came out 2 years ago, and then I beat that this year, and then Kiwami 1 came out. No, the Kiwami 1 did come out this year. It was like February, I think, and then I waited until after I beat that one. And then I beat the shit out of Kiwami. So Kiwami was an emotional adventure for me because my favorite character in Yakuza, I like Kiryu, but Nishikiyama, that was my dude, man. That was my brother, man. Like he was just such a cool character. Like the slicked back hair, and he was just this cool guy. And like he's your enemy in the first game, and I'm just like, no, we were bros, man. How you gonna turn evil? That was such a brain buster for me, and that's totally within like the first 10 minutes of the game, so I'm not spoiling anything. But such a brain buster. Like I was so blown away by that because I was just like, what the fuck? And then like I kept playing the game and like wanting to dig deeper. I was like, no, come back to the light side. You're still my friend, man. You're still my friend. And I won't ruin the ending for you because it's a fantastic ending. Such a worthwhile game to play. And that was September. Or no, that was August. And then in September, what came out in September, you might ask? Yakuza Kiwami 2. And a funny story about that. All the Best Buys, I live in Annapolis, Maryland, so basically in between DC and Baltimore, 2 big cities in the country. 250 miles around here, didn't have a single fucking copy of Yakuza Kiwami 2 the day it launched. The fuck? So I had to order it like a week later once Best Buy finally got a restock online, because I had to have the Steelbook edition, of course.
Rare occasions when I buy steelbooks is only for games that I really truly love, and this one, like, I love this series so much now. But so I finally got the game in, and I just dropped everything else I was doing. I was just like, alright, fuck it, you've already been Yakuza Kiwami'd out for 2 months, you may as well just go for a third month. I didn't play anything else for 3 months, basically. I just, Yakuza 0, Yakuza Kiwami 2, back to back to back. It was life. Life was Yakuza for 3 months, basically. I thought I was a Yakuza. I was just like playing it so much. And then in the second one, you meet the other dragon. I fucking can't even remember what his name was, and that was only in September when this happened. What the hell was his name? But he was really cool. And then, like, the ending to the game, again, I'm not gonna ruin it for you, but like the ending to the game was like an Inception type thing, where like this happens, but then this happens, and he double crosses him, and he double crosses him, and then he double crosses him, and I'm just like, what is going on right now? And it was just such a good story, and like the story to these games is so nuts. All right, and then so here's a fun fact for you: the guy that made the Yakuza franchise, of all people, is the dude that made Super Monkey Ball. Like, what? How do you go from Monkey Ball to Yakuza? Like, that's crazy. Alright, so that was that. And again, please play the Yakuzas. You have to play Yakuza 0, then play 1, then play 2. 3, 4, and 5 are getting ports on the PlayStation 4 all next year. They're not going to be the remastered visuals. It's just going to be stretched up 1080p, which is kind of unfortunate, but it'll be fully working on the PS4 1080p 30, I believe, versus the 720p 30 that was on the PS3. And then Yakuza Kiwami 6 is already actually a PS4 exclusive, which I'm not going to even buy until I beat 3, 4, and 5, because there's just no point in spending the money when I want to play them in order. Yeah, but oh my god, Yakuza is so fucking good. Alright, Alex, shut the fuck up about Yakuza. But seriously, please play Yakuza if you get some time. Like, it's just absolutely worth it. Okay, so, I'm sorry, but, so Yakuza 1, or Yakuza 0 takes about, it was about 32 hours, I think. So it was the longest one that I've played. Now, they can take way longer. There's an insane amount of side missions in the game. And they're just really so many, and it's so abundant. Like, you could honestly spend like 200 hours in this game to do everything. I fully played. There's like little slot car racing and like sports that you can do. There's just so much shit to do. But then, Kiwami 1 took about 18 hours, and then Kiwami 2 took about 20, 22, I think. So they're all roughly about 20 to 30 hours. So not a terrible investment of time. And that's just to do the main stories, and then I did a few side quests here and there, but I just really like had to keep figuring out the main story because they're just so good. And I'm straight addicted to those games now. And then they got Judge Eye coming out, or I think it's just Judgment or Judge Eye, I don't know, something. And then they got Fist of the North Star. I really want to pick that up here soon, but again, I'm gonna wait a while to get that, just because I don't really need to be buying more games. And then also in September, because I think it came out late September, so this was. Actually, no, I beat this game pretty quick. It was Spider-Man. I think I beat that in about a week or two. I did enjoy it. However, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. Spider-Man and Batman are my favorite superheroes. I know that's a cop-out, but those are the ones that had TV shows in the 90s. So, much like you, if you grew up in the 90s, those are probably your favorite superheroes too. Because, you know, I mean, Mark Hamill is the Joker, and I don't even know what the dude's name is that did the Batman voice in the cartoon, but I mean, my god, like, that's a timeless classic. And then the 90s Spider-Man cartoon, like, I can hear the music in my head, and like the Sinister Six, and just the Shock, just everything about the 90s cartoon. Yeah, I just really love Spider-Man and Batman. But so Spider-Man the game, really good game. Probably would only pay 30 or 40 bucks for it to get in at that price point. You can beat it, like I said, in about a week or two. Like 2 solid weekends of playing it, and you've beat the game. Really good. There's a lot, it's like an Assassin's Creed type thing where you can go around and perch yourself and do the thing where you look around, or you can collect backpacks in the game. And I did that for a little while, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to commit to this. I spent 60 bucks. Let's get that platinum. I don't own a single platinum. I have never platinumed a single game. Kind of sucks, but at the same time, like, I'm getting older. I make these videos occasionally, and I just don't have the time to do that. So it is what it is. But Spider-Man, really good game, but $30 or $40 in my opinion. Frankly, I don't even think that should have been really one of the contenders for Game of the Year. The story was so very predictable, which isn't a bad thing, because I mean, if they changed it too much, I probably wouldn't have been upset about that. However, the ending, if you know what I'm talking about, they definitely changed the ending a good bit, because the person that they showed at the end, ooh, talking too long. The video shut off on its own. But so the person that they showed at the end of Spider-Man with the symbiote was not the person it should have been. So that was kind of maybe the second game they're really gonna change some shit up. Maybe they did that to just get you hooked and involved in the story, and then they're gonna change some shit in the second one and the third one. Hopefully they make a trilogy out of it. I assume they're going to, or maybe even more. Alright, so that puts us at September, and then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. You're 6 games short, Alex. Alright, so like I said, I beat most of Assassin's Creed Origins. Technically didn't beat it though, and I don't think I'm going to go back to that game ever again. So that's strike one there. Right now, currently, I am doing Star Wars Battlefront 2, the story. Really enjoyable. I paid like $9, I think, for it, so I'm enjoying that. So I will probably beat that by the end of the year. I'm also doing Red Dead 2. I finally got to the second campsite, so I don't know how far that puts me into the game, but again, really enjoying it. I plan to beat it by the end of the year. Then we're doing Smash Bros. Again, plan to beat it by the end of the year. Really not going to take that long to unlock the characters and then do the weird sprite adventure type thing. And then I'm also doing Let's Go Pikachu, which is here, or no, over here, behind me, and doing that. And then there was something else on the Switch that I was playing too. I can't remember. And then if I have time, I'm going to try to do Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which is the epic finale to, again, one of my favorite franchises that came out. Well, actually, I guess that technically came out on 360, PS3, and then the second one was, excuse me, early PS4 and Xbox One, and then the final one is now. I really enjoyed those. I played the first one, I think 3 or 4 times all the way through, and then the second one 1.5 times through, and then like something came out and I stopped playing it again. Really great franchise, it really is, and I really can't wait to delve into that. But this is already probably like a 30-minute video about the games I beat, so give or take about a minute on each game. Hopefully you enjoyed this. This is kind of something I'm going to do for the channel from now on. Like every year I'm going to just start out of January and write down a list like I did. I enjoyed doing this. It was kind of fun. It kind of keeps you in check with your collection, because next year I might even aim for, you know, I might even just aim for 35. Just up it up 5, because I think I'm going to be able to crush this 30 by the end of the year. So, you know, I might aim for 35. And, you know, I could cheat and I could have done straight up shmups and been done in the first month, like beat a shmup a day. But, you know, that's not fair. It's almost cheating, because this was almost like a backlog challenge to myself, really, to see if I could beat 30 games this year. But, so, you know, there's a variety of stuff here. You got your Mario, you got some shmups, you got giant open world stuff like Shadow War. Then we did some shooters like Devil's Third, and Horizon is kind of a shooter. And then you had God of War, which is like a hack and slash action game. Battletoads, an arcade game. And then, you know, you had Ys 8, which is a very long RPG. Yakuza games, which was a new experience for me that I really enjoyed. And then Panzer Dragoon made me like literally want to rip my hair out. But at the end of the day, like, I enjoyed all these experiences, and if I had to pick, let's say, 3 games out of all these that are my favorite, so I already clarified the game of the year for me was God of War 4, so that's definitely one of them. And I would have to say that while I really loved Yakuza 0, and it's really special to me, all 3 of them are really special to me, but Yakuza, Kiwami, and 0 are kind of tied for 1, because they're both really tightly knit stories with Nishikiyama, who is my favorite Yakuza character. So, like, I really enjoyed both of those. And the third game, surprisingly enough, and Dave from Virtual Bros is probably going to laugh about this if he watches this, but Devil's Third. Such an interesting experience that, sadly, nobody's ever going to play. That, frankly, might be one of Itagaki's last games. That's the Ninja Gaiden dude. That's the Dead or Alive dude. Like, that's who that is. He made this game. He's a true visionary, in my opinion. I mean, he makes very solid games, and I love the Ninja Gaiden franchise, and I love Dead or Alive. Dead or Alive is my favorite fighting franchise. I mean, you could say what you want about the booby physics and stuff. That aside, it's a solid fighting game, and I mean, it's one of the most easiest games to pick up and play besides Smash Bros, which some people don't even consider that a fighting game. I do, but you know. But back to what we're talking about here: Devil's Third, God of War, and then Yakuza 0 and Kiwami. kind of all four of those are really my favorite games this year that I really just truly enjoyed, and feel very like honored to have beaten all these games, and really proud of myself, because like I didn't think that I'd be able to get to these 30 games, and I've really been chipping away at it each month, and I really had fun doing this. And I don't know, next year if if you're a YouTuber, if you're just a regular guy watching and you want to do this with me, and next year at the end of the year you can tell me your 30 games that you beat, or if you somehow kept a list this year, definitely leave that down in the comments, because I would love to see what you beat, and see if you got anything, and you can recommend different stuff to me that I should try this year that I might be in my collection. Like this year, for sure, I know that I want to do Far Cry 5, Ori and the Blind Forest, Okami HD, Elix, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Lunar, and viii, and then Lunar 2. Definitely Cosmic Star Heroine up here. I definitely want to do that. A lot of RPGs this year. The year of 2019 is going to be the RPG year for me. Like I have so many RPGs that I've been building up in my backlog that like I think I just want to like veg out. Basically just do like 12 RPGs this coming year. Just like each month do like Final Fantasy 7, do Final Fantasy 8, do Final Fantasy 9, then do Lunar 1, do Lunar 2, Xenoblade 1, Xenoblade 2, Xenoblade Gold Coast, and just veg out, and then Xenoblade X, and then Cosmic Star Heroine, and just like have a ton of fun playing some RPGs, because it's one franchise or genre that I've never really gotten into, and I don't know why, and it's taken me so long to get into them. But like playing Xenoblade Chronicles 2 last year was such an amazing experience for me. I didn't beat it, which is really unfortunate. I need to go back and like I want to restart the entire game, but before I do that I want to play Gold Coast, because that's a prequel. So I want to do the prequel, then replay Xenoblade Chronicles 2. But such an amazing game, easily my favorite Switch game to this day. Man, that really got me into RPGs. It's a great story, combat's great, fluid, great leveling up system. Difficult but fun. But yeah, I'm just kind of rambling here, guys, as always, you know that. But so yeah, 2019 going to be a great year for gaming for me. I had a blast playing all these games, and for anybody that's new here, welcome. This is not the last video for this year. I still have quite a few reviews I need to get done and other various things, but I just wanted to pop in and do like a quick little video of me just talking about the games I enjoyed this year. So this is something I do plan on doing every year from now on. But welcome all the new people, and it's been a good year. We made it past 1,000. I'm actually almost at 1,100, which was my goal for 2018, to get to 1,100. Next year, I would like my goal to be, and this is my kind of New Year's resolution, to at least get to 2,000. I'm not aiming for anything crazy, but I think with what I've learned from YouTube this year, and just all the different connections that I've made, whether it be in the gaming industry itself or just other YouTubers, I think I could get to 2,000 subs this year, and I think that's a reasonable goal. And it's not even a money thing, because I have a job that I don't make a ton of money, but I make enough to buy all this shit and have a decent life. But as much as I bitch about my job and my personal life to my friends and stuff, like I still enjoy it. Like I enjoy being a mechanic. That's what I do, if you didn't know that. And this is really just a hobby for me. And don't get me wrong, it'd be cool to make money from it. And if I made, let's say, $60 a month, I mean, that's a new game every month. You know what I mean? That'd be kind of cool, right? But yeah, I mean, honestly, like I've just made good friends and good connections, and like I get free games from companies now. Like that's cool. They're not physical copies, but who am I to complain about getting free games pre-launch to review and then play and beat? So I'm very grateful for that, and it's been a good year. It really has been. I'm grateful for the growth of the channel, and I can't wait to see what comes in the future. I really can't. So thanks for sticking around. If you've been around since the beginning, I know quite a few people that I've become very good friends with, and even seen some of them make channels after watching me, and I've helped them along the way and stuff. So kind of cool. I've really been enjoying YouTube. But as always, guys, peace out for now. Till next time.
Come here, you motherfucker! Oh, shit. This is it, baby.